Okay, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA today with UFC Fighter Quillan Salkilld. It's got a nice ring to it, bro. How are you?
Thanks, Toby. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, very good.
I should mention training under Ramel Luistro of Luistro Combat Academy, and thank you, Jasmine Frank, MMA manager, photographer, and matchmaker, for helping with the interview, bro. What's changed now that you're an MMA fighter with the UFC?
Just those three letters. Like everything else is the same, other than maybe a little bit more popularity, a bit more recognition. But other than that, in terms of the training and my lifestyle, it's exactly the same as when I was on the local scene, when I was coming up through the amateurs. Everything's just pretty much exactly the same still for me.
Yeah, bro. Hey, with your Dana White Contender series fight you had back in September 3rd against Gage Young, I was driving at the time. I popped it on, like trying to drive and watch at the same time. I had another look today, man. What are your takeaways from that fight? Like, how was it for you?
Yeah. During the moment, I remember when the fight finished, I was thoroughly disappointed. Like, it didn't feel as good as it kind of looked. Like, when I watched it back, I was like, I realized that it was actually a pretty decent performance, and it was actually a good fight to watch. But in the moment, I was pissed off. Like, afterwards, I was so disappointed. And then when Dana come into the cage afterwards, I was like, what are you doing? At the time. But watching it, it was I'm pretty happy to have gone through that, because it was a hard fight, right? It was lots of back and forth, and I was able to finish on top as the superior fighter at the end of the day. So it was it was a bit of up and down, because I wanted to perform a lot better. I wanted to get a finish, and I wanted to be a bit more spectacular, but I'll have to settle with having a war.
Bro, it's so much pressure in the contender fights, right? Because you don't just have to go out there and win. You got to go out there and actually perform and impress the boss to get on the show. So there's no intensity like that you're going to get pretty much anywhere else, right? Even now you're in the UFC, there's not as much pressure, right?
Yeah. The worst part was walking out, and it was no one around. It was weird. There's so much, when we're waiting behind the doors, there's all this build up. The TV's right there, and it sounds like you're going to go out and there's going to be a big crowd. But then when you walk out, it's just silence, and you can feel you can just feel the intensity all around. And that was probably the worst part about it, was just having no crowd there, really. I had my supporters, but I like to have, obviously, I like a big arena full of
it's a very different thing.
Cheering, it's just the energy I like.
Bit more like a real sort of fight, right? In a way, not the spectacle that it normally is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, the pressure for you, first of all, you're on the Contender trying to make your name for yourself to get on the show. Secondly, first time overseas fighting, is that correct? And then
Yes.
Being in another country, it's just a very difficult thing. Would I be right in saying first round you seemed just kind of off a tiny bit?
Yeah, it took a little bit just to get into it, and then once we've had a couple of exchanges and got the feel for things, it was I just stopped caring. At the start, I'm I was maybe overthinking, and I'll probably just say that. I was just overthinking, just waiting too much. I was waiting for him to throw his right hand, and then he was quite patient. He wasn't throwing too much volume. And then I was waiting too much, so we end up just looking at each other for a little bit and come on, do something. But once a couple of exchanges have passed, and a round or two, then you just stop giving a shit, and you just start going for it. And then I started performing a lot better. The more tired I got, I ended up just letting more loose and just getting better. So.
Yeah, bro. Takeaways for me was the kicks made a big difference. If you're scoring like Thai boxing anyway, which they don't necessarily score like that, you were smashing him in that first round, just cracking his arms and cracking his body with the kick. So that was a really nice start. And I expected your grinding sort of style to take him out eventually, and that's what happened, right? In the last round, you came close to a sub because of that grind. You started to overtake him.
Yeah, started to just keep pushing forward, and I just utilised more weapons. Like he had like a few kicks and he was trying to punch a lot, but I was mixing everything in and adding in the takedowns. He didn't really, he wasn't in a rush to shoot. He just wanted to defend the takedown. So at the end of the day, I just had more weapons than he had, and I just kept pushing the pace, and eventually I just started to overtake him.
Yeah, that's it, man. And so coming up for next year, bro, UFC 312, February 8th in Sydney, Australia, which is cool for you. UFC debut against Anshul Jubli. I think he's from the UK, right?
He's from India, but he trains out of Bali.
Oh, Bali. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason his coach was UK, but anyway. Yeah. Yeah, so this guy, bro, what's your take on him, bro? I had a look at some of his fights, and he seems like pretty confident in the stand-up. He wasn't doing much wrestling, but he was doing some pretty dead awful-looking double-leg attempts.
Yeah, he's quite pretty on the feet. He does have a lot of bravado when it comes to that, which, that's all good until you start getting, cracked back and start getting, put on your back. I'm going to have a pretty similar game plan to the last one, was just, mix everything in. That's what I find I'll just bring to the table, just more weapons and more skills. I think he's just going to come out there and try to kickbox. And if he tries to, wrestle with me and try to put me on my back, then he's in for a lot of shit. So I'm going to have a lot more tools in the toolbox to utilize against him.
Bro, it said on paper that he's 6 foot. How tall are you, bro?
I'm 6 foot, yeah. 183 centimeters.
That's a nice matchup then, right? As far as length goes, it wouldn't bother you because you look tall in his fight, right? In the fights that I watch, because the guys are a bit shorter.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's it, man. And you got a lot of power, bro, a lot of strength that I reckon that a lot of 6 foot tall people in that weight division wouldn't have as well, yeah, when you get to the wrestling side of things.
Yeah, so all the work I do at with my strength coach, Alex, at Iron Octopus Strength, his gym, we focus a lot on kettlebells and gymnastics, a lot of unconventional style like movements, not really doing much barbell, bench press, squats, deadlifts, mainly just we do a lot of weird stuff with the kettlebells, and I think that plays dividends when it comes to the grappling strength.
Nice and functional things. I remember GSP used to say that the best thing that he'd done was doing the gymnastics, or he wished he'd done more or something like that. I started my little son doing gymnastics for a while, but it was just kind of really monotonous, the shit that they were doing, so he's just doing jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah, I wish I started younger too. I wish I started as a kid doing gymnastics, because it's easier to learn as a kid. I don't bend as well now, so it's harder to learn the funky bendy stuff at the moment.
That's it, bro. Hey, bro, I just got a couple of questions I've been asking people lately. I'm going to compile eventually into a compilation of different questions from MMA fighters. Are you okay to go through some?
Yep, let's go.
Cool. First one, mental preparation. Can you describe your mental preparation routine before a fight?
Before a fight, I just try to become as relaxed as possible. I don't try to think about anything really. Just try to clear the mind. That's my mental prep.
Yep. Motivation, bro. What drives you to compete at the highest level? How do you stay motivated through the ups and downs?
Yeah, honestly, I just have the urge to, when I pursue something, to try to be the best at it. And in terms of fighting, it's, a lot of people ask me why I fight. Really, it's I want to ask the same question back. Why don't you want to fight? Really, it's just the primal instinct, right? I've always had that fascination with it. So it's why I got into this is because I just wanted to fight as just an instinct. And then I just have that ability just to, I just want to become the best at it. I just want to be great. So I'm just chasing glory.
Yeah, that's a nice one, bro. Post-fight reflections. After a fight, what processes do you go through in terms of self-reflection?
Oh, shit. I like to just watch the fight, and then I cut out the bad bits. That's my revenge.
Post them. Post them online.
I post the good stuff. Anything where I like fuck up a little bit, I just ignore that. I don't. Well, it's true. Like if anything bad happens, say like try not to like dwell on it. Just focus on the good stuff. But obviously know where I like in the places I've messed up, and it's always in my mind. I always know like how to fix it. But you know, I don't think it's good for like say like your mental, like your confidence. If you dwell on anything bad that you do, if you like be like pessimistic about it. So that's like my last fight. I was, like I said, like straight after the fight, I was pretty like disappointed. But when I actually watched it back and took away like the good stuff, ended up being like pretty happy with how I went.
Yeah, it was a great fight, man, for everyone to watch for both sides. Like I'd say you're both UFC worthy. One thing I did notice though is the commentators seemed a little bit biased towards Gage. I would say a little bit. Did you think that?
Yeah, maybe I understood. I think he trains at the same gym that Laura Sanko trains at, and I think they know each other, so that's understandable.
I didn't know that, but that shows so clearly because she was the one pumping him a bit. Yeah, that's funny.
That's right.
Yeah. Bro, training regimen, could you walk us through a typical day, waking up, eating, that sort of thing during camp?
Well, Monday through Friday, it's pretty the same, where I train mornings and evenings. Every morning, I do like 2 hours in the morning, and then I either do 1 or 2 hours in the evening. And then on the Saturday, I just do like the one session, which is like a sparring day on the Saturday, and then Sunday's like my rest day. If I was to do anything, I'd do like a 5K run or at like a steady pace or something light. I might go in do some like pad or bag work or something. It's just like a more light or active recovery / rest day.
What do you think about that steady state running? What sort of benefits do you reckon that one has?
For me, it's more just like meditation. Like I like to just go for a little trot, headphones on, music. In terms of actual like physical benefits, it's probably just good just to get the blood pumping and just move. I don't like to run that often because I know it's not probably the best for like your knees. So I never really run, probably like once a week, if that. Yeah, it's just more like a mental thing. I just enjoy it. Like if I do it once a week, I enjoy it. But if I do it every day, like when I prep for like some like Thai fights, I was running every day. I fucking hated it. And actually running to like at pace to try to like actually improve fitness as you do when you're prepping for anything like kickboxing or boxing, you run. But for MMA, because of all the wrestling and the sparring you do, if you add in running on top of that, it just gets too much damage on the body. Like the grappling does a lot of damage on the body as it is, so you want to try to minimize that with like other stuff.
Cool.
Cool,
bro.
Yeah.
Advice for aspiring fighters, people that want to make it in the sport like you?
Just get into the gym, mate. Yeah, like I don't know, just I've got asked this question a couple of times. Like really, it's my advice would be just like nothing that anyone doesn't really know. Just train as much as possible. Like you got to prioritize training over everything else. So you got to get to the gym as much as possible, and the more time you spend on the mat, the faster and better you're going to get. So that's it. Just prioritize yourself in training over everything else. Fuck everything else.
True. And the second piece of that is finding the right coaches, the right gym, right? Because you can go as much as you want to a shit gym, and you're only going to end up with as well. So that's kind of the second piece of it, right? Yeah,
that is an important part, but I think you need to be lucky to find a good coach. Like for me, finding Ramel, that's lucky as like like winning the lottery, really, in terms of coaches. I find, but it was like the first day I set foot into a gym. He took the first class, and I've pretty much just been with him like ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very lucky to have found him. I could have easily found a less competent trainer, and I could have, I find I'm a pretty like loyal person as a whole. So it would have been hard for me if I found a shit coach to leave. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have found Rom in the first place.
Nice. And saying that, bro, like your style that you've developed at that gym, like it must be satisfying to come up against like what you'd probably say would be a high level American MMA fighter in Gage Young, has very good wrestling, very good grappling, and for your style to trump his, right?
Yeah, it's very very cool to see all the work we've done all throughout the years, especially like like Australia versus America in like the MMA scene. We're now very even. Like it's like the Anzac region has like caught up to the US now. So
yeah,
and
that's cool.
if not, some of us are doing like way better than them. So that's very cool to see.
Yeah, bro. Hey, I know you're right in the thick of things. You're pretty much just kicking off where you want to be. But future plans, bro, beyond your fighting career, any thoughts?
Beyond my fighting career, not really. Like, I've thought of like maybe after like say retiring, like going to freaking like travel the world, like doing like I'd probably like to go fucking hiking mountains and like hunting shit and like seeing like the wilderness really. Like I don't really care for going to visiting like other like cities, but going to visit like places where it's like a sight to behold. Yeah. That'd be my post fighting career, I guess. Just traveling around, looking
I'd
at
say like
all the beautiful sights. Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan, bro. You find, like you mentioned about the cities, it seems like every city is the same. Like I travel quite a bit around Asia, and every city's got the same brands, the same shit. It's just but out of the cities is where it's a bit more unique, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's your go-to street fight move, bro? I don't know if you get into scraps on the street, but if you were to, what would be your go-to move? Double eye poke?
Double eye poke, then nut shot.
Perfect.
Then put the keys, mate. The keys. You put your keys in your knuckles and like shift brass knuckles, mate.
The old keys in the knuckle trick.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
All right. So, 2 more questions. Thoughts on CT and brain damage in MMA and combat sports? Is it worth it?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, it's worth it. Just do it, lad. No matter what you do, there's going to be some sort of, repercussion or consequence. To make it worth it, you got to make sure you've achieved what you want to achieve, right? Like, I want to become, the best. So if I don't become the best, then that CTE that I may get in the future is not going to be worth it. So you got to make it worth it.
Yeah. And just a question, bro, with Ramel, like, do you guys kind of safeguard? It seems most gyms these days, are strategic. It's not like the old days where people just wander in and try and kill each other. There's certain days that you'll spar harder. There's certain ways of avoiding heavy shots.
Yeah, we're not spastics. We're not trying to like kill each other in the gym. Like, a lot of our team is very like tight. So we train with the same group of people like day in, day out. So yeah, we're not trying to take each other's heads off. Like some days we do spar a bit harder, but no one's getting knocked out or like really badly hurt to the head. Like we more try to just like drop each other with body shots, if anything. Yeah, we train. Yeah, we train smart. That's why I was hunting the body so much in the last fight. I threw so much body shots because just inspiring. I was just trying to hunt everyone's bodies. So yeah, we train smart. We don't want to fuck each other up in that sense. Save the brain damage for the fight, so you can actually take a heavy shot and be okay.
Yeah, that's it. Talking about the body shots, bro, that's the sort of thing that pays dividends. It might have been a contributing factor to him getting tired, Gage Young getting tired in that 3rd round, right?
Yeah. I landed a lot of body shots where I'm like, come on, bro, go down. That was a good one. And he told me after the fight, because I seen him at like the hotel we're staying at, and he told me that those body shots were a great investment. By the end, he was pretty cooked. So yeah. I think most of the shots I landed were to the body with the kicks and with like the body rips.
Yeah. Bro, last one is probably one for you to invest in a question, silly question, but you might actually come against one of these when you're out in the wilderness. If you had to fight a bear, a lion, or a gorilla, which one would you choose and what would your strategy be?
Oh, shit. You're pretty fucked either way. It will be the best way to die. I think probably a lion would kill you quickest. And what would I do? Yeah, I'd go for the nuts.
Go for the nuts, bro. The funny thing
Go
is,
for the nuts.
that's the funny thing is, I think, who was I talking to? I think it was Nikora Lee King, or one of the guys. No, who was it? Oh no, it was Jarrett Wilbraham. I talked to him, asked him the same question, and he said, yeah, like the honey badger. He said the honey badgers apparently like bite the nuts, and the lion will walk off thinking it won, and then it'll bleed out to death, and the honey badger will get up and walk away. So
Yeah,
you guys have got the same strategy. Go for the
rip
nuts.
off the lion's nuts, so when it kills me, it dies with me. I take it down.
Yeah. And so I mentioned Jarrett as well.
Fastest way. Yeah. I wouldn't want to
Sorry,
bear
I
will eat
mentioned.
you alive.
That's it. I mentioned to Jared as well, like how you guys, like, I reckon you ask most people, like your average guy about fighting these animals, I reckon people will give themselves a shot. But it seems like all the MMA fighters have a real understanding of who can fuck them up and what can fuck them up. And they're all just thinking, the lion will kill me first because they're going to die no matter what.
It'll kill me fastest. It'll kill me fastest. It'll just go for my throat and kill me. A bear will like lay on me and eat me alive. And a gorilla will freaking like tear me arms off or something, just crush me, and I'll be like half alive. Yeah. But I think the lion would just go straight for my neck and just take me out instantly. So that'll be the best way to go, I think.
That's it, man. All right, bro. Well, that's all my questions for today. Looking very much forward to UFC 312 in Sydney, bro, when you're fighting Anshul Jubli, sorry. I hope you can do well, and I'm sure it'll be great to be at home with all the crowd supporting you, not in a quiet little Contender studio.
Yeah, it'll be a lot better. Yeah, thanks, Toby.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much for your time, bro.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Just take it easy, bro.